All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, hello, and welcome to another show of Just Say the Truth. I am your girl, LDZ. It feels good to be back. It feels great to be back, Tony. And you know what? We should call this the Cowboys Just Say the Truth, because
because there's just two of us.
There's just two of us, and it's the Cowboys. So I feel like we can just change the whole format. Like we can.
Hey, I'm all for. If you want to throw a Cowboy star back there, I'll save the picture. I'll put. I got pictures right now. If you want me to throw it back there, we'll make
this.
It back.
We could just throw it. We could just change the whole format. Like, I'm down. I'm down. Like, I'm not gonna say nothing. Like I used to have a Cowboy star in here. Like I am in my Cowboys room. Due to my husband trying to do a whole remodel. There we go. Yeah, he over here trying to remodel our house. So if the house falls down while I'm on,
if it does, I'm gonna have to take over on the show. LDZ will be back.
If he just because I think he's literally under. Yeah, he's under me. Like whatever he's doing is right.
LDZ's just gonna fall to the bottom and be like, LDZ stepped out for a little bit. She'll be back. Don't worry. We'll get there.
You'll hear me. I'm okay.
It's okay, guys. She's okay. She's okay.
I'm just so like I said, if it happens, it happens. But yeah, we're gonna change the whole format because I had topics lined up and everything, and I was like, oh, it's just not gonna be me and Tony. F them topics, like.
Hey, I'm down for whatever. You just let me know.
No, but we are going to talk about the playoffs because the playoffs is, of course, the biggest thing that is going on right now, and we need to obviously talk about it. Like this. But I obviously cannot share. See, I don't want to share. See, you hear that in the background? Like that's the BS. That's the BS that is going. Stop it. But I don't want to share. I don't want to invite. I just want to share. See, yeah, whatever. I hate Facebook. Fresh out of Facebook jail. Let's see how long I stay out of Facebook jail. That's just real talk right there. I'm
gonna give you 5 minutes. That you
because I'm like literally like I'm on a warning, so it doesn't even matter. But so let's talk about these playoffs. These playoffs are coming. First, before we do our predictions, what game is the most interesting to you out of all of them?
I would say the most interesting would probably be the Rams versus the Cardinals. And I say that because that's probably the two teams that started out so hot and, everybody thought, this is going to be the big matchup. It's going to be for the NFC West, who's going to win. And I feel like both have really just dropped the ball. Arizona started out 10-2. They lost, 4 of their last 5. And then you look at, you look at the Rams, kind of the same way. They started out really hot, and then they went on a slump. They won a couple, and then they're on a slump again, and just lost last week to a really hot San Francisco 49ers team. So to me, to see kind of the Arizona versus LA part 3, really, I think this is going to be probably the saddest matchup of the entire playoffs, because Matt Stafford is kind of hurt. He's forcing the ball to Cooper Kupp. They're abandoning the run extremely quickly. That defense isn't living up to expectations. Then on the other side of the ball, you have Cliff Kingsbury, who can't coach his way out of a wet paper bag the second half of the season for whatever reason. Because the Cardinals were in the same position last year, if you remember.
Yeah.
They were hot. They were on their way to make a run, and then they dropped the ball literally, and next thing you know, they were out of the playoffs before their heads could spin. So to me, I feel like that's the most interesting, but also potentially the most disappointing game out of the 6 that are going to go on over the next 3 days.
Yeah, I like that game. Not trying to miss that game because it's one of those games. Of course, it's like the Buffalo Bills and Patriots. It's 2 teams that keep fighting each other, and you just don't know which one you're going to get. And so it's like, like me and my co-host talked about it. It's like, it's really, 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 really hard to beat the same team twice.
Mm-hmm. And
so that's like where we're at. Either it's going to happen, obviously it's got to happen this weekend, which for either team. But I think, to be honest, the game I am excited to watch is this Raiders Bengals game.
Yeah.
Something is telling me, like, hey, the Raiders might try to give them a run for their money. Not saying they're going to win. I just think it's going to be more competitive game than what we expect. Because some people are expecting a blowout. And don't get me wrong, I expect to win. I really, really do. But I just, you saw these Raiders come back literally this whole season. Mm-hmm. Like, that was literally their story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's a comeback award for the ESPYs for NFL, Raiders need to be like winning that, because that's literally their whole story this whole season. Mm-hmm. And I can see them make it, it's going to be like, I really feel like something is really telling me this might be closer than you think. I will say the game that is scaring me is our own game.
Yep.
This team that we are playing, the Niners are about the hottest team in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see them.
No.
I don't want to see this team. This team is scary. This front four I think is going to rattle the shit out of Dakota. That's what I'm gonna call him right now. And I really, really think it's going to be harder. This game is going to be harder than what people think.
Yeah, I'd agree. We were actually talking about that on my last show, the Hoosier Huddle, just a little bit ago, and like Anthony said, you have to deal with Trent Williams, because Trent Williams is still a factor. Especially with a Dallas pass rush that has really been. They're not bad, but they're not great. I think a lot of people kind of say that, Dallas's pass rush is better than what it seems. No, it's not. I mean, they get to the quarterback, but I mean, it's like pretty much at the end where a lot of teams usually get to the quarterback. DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, and Micah Parsons, if you had those 3 going at them, your chances increase, but you better hope that the quarterback you're facing doesn't do one of those quick passes, like a quick slant or a quick bubble screen out, because then we're SOL. But I agree because the 49ers are shifty. They're going to pretty much – I look at the 49ers playbook like a Madden playbook. Pretty much everything you have is going to have Deebo Samuel in it somewhere. Deebo is going to be involved with their hits in a sweep formation, running the ball, whether he's as the tailback running it, whether he's a pass catcher and actually catching the ball. Now, what gives me a little bit of hope is that Jimmy G is the quarterback. That gives me hope.
That's the only positive.
That gives me hope because they're not going to force that man to throw the ball. They're going to be like, "No, Jimmy, don't throw the ball." And we don't care. We don't care if Deebo's out there. We don't care. You got Trayvon Diggs too. No, you are not. No, stay out of that, Jimmy.
No. I think our weakness, of course, is tight ends, and they have one of the best tight ends when healthy. When healthy is the Asher Mark.
Yes.
When healthy, and right now he's healthy. Like I haven't heard anything that he's not healthy. So you have Deebo Samuel, who was hot. You have I can't even say the other guy's last name. Is it Caillou? Is it
Ayuk? The wide receiver.
Ayuk. Yes. I always mess up his name. And then you have Kettle, and then like your run game is just.
It's a running back by committee.
Yeah. So it's not like you. Oh wow, you're really worried more about the wide receiver core and a tight end, and everybody's like, "Ooh, you got Diggs. We got Diggs. Yeah, he has like all these interceptions, but guess what? He has given up the most yards to any wide receiver in the league.
Yep.
Yeah, he might be leading in interceptions, but they're obviously not scared to throw to him because of how many yards he's given up.
And it's a 50-50 ball every time because either Diggs will get you an interception or you getting burned for a touchdown, one of the two. There's no in between.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, as a Cowboys fan, the thing I'm worried about the most and San Francisco is going to capitalize on it because they still have very good defense. They're going to stop this run game.
Yeah.
Zeke is not healthy. I don't care if Zeke says, "Oh, the knee feels good. I'm going to keep the knee brace on it." Okay, cool. You've been trashed. You haven't had a single 100-yard rushing game since the first time they faced the Giants this year.
Yeah.
You haven't had a 100-yard rushing game since. You've had decent games. You rushed just enough against Philly to get you over 1,000 yards. You have 1,002 yards on the season. And they're not gonna rotate Pollard in enough. And to be honest with you, I think they need another running back to bounce off of Pollard. And to me, Corey Clement isn't it. I would say go get Alfred Morris again. Go see if Adrian Peterson will come in. And listen, hear me out, because I know everybody gonna be like, no, that he's old. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be the NBA team that we talk about being in the geriatrics league. But Adrian Peterson's a good bell cow as far as you have a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 2, which Dallas has a tendency to struggle with because they'll hand it off to Zeke and he gets stuffed in the backfield. Give it to AP. Give it to Adrian Peterson. Let Tony Pollard take the big. Let him go. Let him run on 1st, 2nd down, and then give AP the yardage for the short one. And that way, Dak doesn't feel the pressure of, okay, now I have to force the ball to get the 1st down, which it's great that, we still have Cooper. Lamb has a little bit of a drop problem. Schultz is consistent. Schultz is a good tight end.
I think it's the number 88. It's real. I think it's the curse of the number 88. Like,
and then Cedric Wilson can be great at times. His games here and there. At times, number 1, he is great. He has times where he's best wide receiver on the field. I'm like, how are you the best one out of Gallup, Cooper, and Lamb?
Yeah.
The fourth wide receiver is our best guy. I don't understand.
And Schultz looks better than him.
And Schultz, the tight end.
Like, the tight end, that's the 2nd string. So it's this whole team. You don't know what you're going to get. And I understand that you could say that about any NFL team, but when you are looking at a team from a fan's point of view, and you're trying to figure out which team are they going to show? Is it the team that played the Broncos and the team that, or even the team that first game against the Buccaneers? I will take that team, because even though we lost, we were still clicking on all cylinders. Like, we were still clicking from offensive, defensive. We were still clicking. It was just, it's Tom effing Brady.
Yeah.
But that team could beat San Francisco.
Yeah.
And that you have to cut one of our receivers. More than likely, it's going to be Gallup.
Yeah, Gallup. Gallup is scheduled to be a free agent anyway. I don't think they're not money. To be honest with you, I was really surprised when Jerry drafted CeeDee Lamb. Because I could have very easily seen, if they didn't draft Lamb, they would give Gallup his extension 100%. I think money-wise, he'll probably leave. Although I say this in kind of optimism, but I could still see him probably going somewhere else to get more money. The fact that he hurt himself basically the second to last game of the season, teams may not take a chance on him, so he may come back to Dallas at least for a year. I don't see him doing a long-term deal, just because Dallas is going to want the cap because Dak is eating a majority of the cap. But I could easily see them being like, hey, Gallup, you want to come back for another year? We'll sign you to a year, kind of a cheap deal. After that, if you want to go hit the free agency market, by all means, go.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Gallup. Like, we were prepared for this, and because of this season, because of injuries, like, I don't even feel like we missed him. Like, no offense, but we haven't. We really haven't. I would trade Cooper. There's no point. He's actually our hottest hand right now. Like, and reliable. He's probably the best reliable wide receiver we have right now.
Yeah, yes and no. He's so inconsistent. He'll be hot one game and then he disappears for like 4. And I think I kind of see where Anthony's coming from as far as trade name, but
we don't have any. Does he have any value left? Like, does he?
He has value. So somebody would trade for it. I don't think,
but it's not like what we're going to get. It's not going to be worth. I feel like it's not going to be worth what we're going to.
Yeah, and we'd still more than likely we're still going to have to eat part of his cap anyway.
Exactly.
And to be honest with you, then at least with Cooper on the field, that's another body you have to account for, because it's kind of the same. Even when Dez got older, they still accounted for Dez when he was with Dallas because he was the guy. When you have Cooper on the field, you still have to account for him. You also have to account for at least Lamb on the other side. So if you double team one, that's going to either lead to double teaming on the other guy and either your third wide receiver, which I think Cedric Wilson is also supposed to be a free agent, so Dallas may or may not even get him back.
I bet you they'll try to get Wilson back before they would get because for one, it's cheap because we're poor.
Yeah.
And 2, he has actually probably been more reliable than Gallup. In so many ways. So, and then, somebody asked about trading Zeke, and I'm like, again, for one, you're going to piss off your quarterback. So that's not, because they're best friends. And so the little pool that he has, Dak is going to put his foot down. Like, Zeke's not going anywhere. But does Zeke have to get better? Yes, because we're paying him to do absolutely nothing. Like, it hurts. But this team, like I said, if this team that, I don't even want to say that played the Giants or played the Eagles or, our division, because they're under, these 500, barely 500 teams, because the Eagles, I think, were right at 500.
They're 9-8. They're above 900, but
so they're right around 5. Like I said, they're right at 500 when we played them.
Yep.
The first time, like first time, second time, okay, but it's like they were the only team over 500 that we beat.
No,
that
Patriots too.
And and that's it.
Yep,
that's it. And like, I feel it's like we beat up a sophomore quarterback and a rookie quarterback. Like we beat like inexperienced quarterbacks. Yeah. And Minshew.
Yeah, because you got to think we went. Yeah. Well,
hold on. And Minshew.
Yeah, they went 6-0 against their division, and they went 6-5 against everybody other than their division.
Yeah. And so that's why this team, I guess, you just don't know which team you're going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And this team is like, this game to me is the most scariest out of all of them. And these Cowboys fans, I know the Cowboys play hard on big deal and then fall down. Like when I tell you, Anthony, that's probably about the best line.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And the games that we need, like we need to win, that's when they don't show up.
Yep.
Like maybe one person shows up.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be honest, if you look at a lot of players here of lately, probably the only one that is the exception is TJ Watt, who got like a massive deal and has continued to produce even after. You could say that for a lot of players throughout the years. Look at Ryan Fitzpatrick when he was with the Bills. They gave him a massive contract, and what did Ryan do? Shit the bucket. Like he's just done. And to be honest with you too, Anthony, I say that a lot of times too. When Cowboys players go to other teams, they live up to the potential that they were supposed to live up to in Dallas. And I say that for a couple different players. Look at Anthony Hitchens in Kansas City. Anthony Hitchens in Kansas City was probably considered one of the better linebackers for Kansas City. And again, he was with Dallas for 4 or 5 years. And now all of a sudden he's a star in Kansas City. Now Morris Claiborne hasn't really lived up to it. Chidobe Awuzie, he's now the corner for the Bengals. He kind of did, but I mean,
and what's his name? That used to be our in Miami. Who's in Miami?
Oh, Byron Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
His name. It's been very silent. Everybody kept talking about any Cowboys fan that talked bad that they overpaid for him. I get it. I get that Byron Jones. That was the market for Byron Jones. Mm-hmm. I get it. And we understood that he was going to leave. We understood that we couldn't afford him. But mm-hmm. I am not paying this man that much money for 2 interceptions. Yeah, you could say, because he shut, this wide receiver down. Okay, he might shut that side down or that particular wide receiver down, but did they win? Did they win? No. And so that's what, I feel like the Cowboys won on that one. Because they didn't overpay him. Did I want him to stay? Yeah, but I didn't want them to pay $15,462 that for one day. I didn't want that.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, Anthony, I'm going to say just about every contract that we have, with the exception of Zach Martin. That's the only one I'm like, yeah, pay Zach Martin.
And Micah's is Zach and Micah's are, and since Micah's still technically in a rookie contract, we'll take it. We're not paying
him because and this is what I don't like about Dallas, and a lot of people have said this. Dallas overplays for slightly above average players. It's not like they pay for elite players. They play for slightly above average. Look at Jalen Smith. That was a terrible contract deal. Thankfully, if Jerry Jones re-signs Leighton Vander Esch, I'm throat punching Jerry Jones right now. I will fly.
I'm taking one for the team. I'm going down there and pushing them down some steps.
Yes.
Hopefully that doesn't get me kicked off of Facebook. But I'm just
that was a bad contract. Honestly, I'm not upset that we re-signed Zeke. I'm upset with the amount of money that we're paying Zeke. I'm upset with the amount of money we're paying Cooper. And to be honest, I'm upset that we didn't sign Dak sooner, because now we're going to be cap constricted because we're having to pay Dak a crap ton of money because they didn't go ahead and sign him the first time last year, which is what they should have done. And they would have been able to get him at a significantly cheaper rate. But no, you let other quarterbacks kind of dictate the market. Like that's why I feel bad for and Anthony DeMarcus Lawrence is another one too. They overpaid for DeMarcus Lawrence. He is by no means the best defensive player in the league. Khalil Mack, yes, I could see it. Aaron Donald, yes. TJ Watt, yes. DeMarcus Lawrence, absolutely not. He had one good season and has been non-existent since.
This season he's actually having a good season. So I don't want to say like this season, like I think he would have had even better numbers before that injury. So like I'm a huge D-Law fan, and I defend him. You know, I'm but
because I mean, look at his last 2 seasons before this one.
It was horrible. It was so hard. My husband calls him the mist.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's literally all he does. He said that he doesn't like hurt them. He just taps them.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, but this contract, I will say, Anthony, I agree with you. The contract of D-Law, those numbers before he got, that contract year, amazeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Amazeballs.
Incredible.
Of course, it's your contract. Of course, it's your contract year. Has he been doing anything since? No, but this year, and I don't know if it's because, and that makes you start thinking too. He's kind of disappeared, but was it really him, or was it our defensive coordinator, or was it a combination of both? Because now Dan Quinn, you're seeing him again. Like, I'm not saying we're seeing the amount. Does he deserve the amount of money he's getting?
Mm-hmm.
Part of me says yes, because I am pro player. Like, go get your money, do what you gotta do, because everybody knows NFL is not for long league. So go for go. Mm-hmm. But the other hand, like you talked about, we're going to be poor.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to be poor, and so it's like, does he deserve that money? There's a good chance he might not come back next season. Like, the Cowboys might cut him.
Yeah.
If he doesn't take a cut, like,
because we're one of 3 teams that are under the cap.
Wow.
Green Bay is just barely over the cap. Dallas is second, and then the Saints. Oh my God, the Saints are so over the cap. It's not even funny. Like, holy crap at the cap, the restrictions they have. I agree. I'm for players getting paid the big bucks, but at the same time too, that's where I don't necessarily always believe players when they say, "Oh, I'm trying to go out and get a championship."
Yeah.
You can't be the highest paid and win a championship on top of it unless you're a quarterback that happens to go to the right situation. Like, Patrick Mahomes can in Kansas City because they still have the right pieces there that they need. He has to overcome a really bad defense now, but he's in the right place. Kind of the same with Tom Brady. Tom Brady could have gone to Tampa Bay and been like, I'm going to take a max freaking contract because they still have a bunch of people here, and I'll win one damn Super Bowl if that's all I got to win while I'm here. To me, that's where I kind of say, as a player, you need to take a step back and look at it of, do I want to max out my contract? Do I want to be the highest paid player ever? And, be on a team that maybe is just on the outside and maybe has to wait 2 or 3 years before they draft, and maybe I'm still able to play or not? Or do you say, hey, I still want to be paid. I don't want to be paid like dirt. I want to be paid decent money.
Yeah.
But then after that, okay, I'll rearrange my contract. I didn't take as much. Go get another playmaker on the other side of me. Go get a wide receiver to help the quarterback. Go get a safety. Go get an offensive lineman to help rotate in there. Because to me, that shows more of that team perspective of, I'm doing this because I want to win a chip, not necessarily just because I want to be the highest paid player. Now, if they win a Super Bowl ring and then after that they're like, hey, I'm out, by all means, you won your Super Bowl ring, go get paid the highest money like ever. All 100%.
And, that might happen in Green Bay, because is it Jamal Adams? Not Jamal Adams, but is it Adams? Yeah, it's Adams that's up for
Devontae Adams. Yeah,
Devontae Adams. He's up for contract. And there's a good chance that he might be like, you know what? I got my, they got this ring. And he's gone. Or Aaron, his BFF is gone and he's out.
Mm-hmm.
My son has to be in the room with me.
Okay, I have two of my furry Karats here that also be in the room with me.
Yeah, so. He has to be. I came up here because he was playing with dinosaurs that were very loud, and then he shows up. I don't know how the Saints are so much over the cap. For one, they paid both of their quarterbacks
ridiculous amount of money.
Ridiculous amount.
Taysom Hill is a professional robber for what he did to the Saints organization.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I like what he does. Hey, correct. But he definitely got his money. And then, like I said, Winston, everybody kept thinking Winston wasn't going to stay. And I kept telling him, I was like, Peyton liked Winston. He was infatuated with Winston when he was the backup of Breeze. So I kept telling, so I was like, he's going to stay. And of course, they gave him all this money. Or at the same time, I'm trying to figure it out too, Anthony. Let's go. We could go as a family to New Orleans and get hired because they overpay him. I'll be like the ball holder or cleaner. Ball cleaner? Do they need a ball cleaner in a stadium?
They probably do.
In the dome. I know they do in the ball warmer in colder climates. I don't know if they need one in the dome, but I'll be the person that just holds the ball and gives it because they have to give good money. But let's go talk about some other games because, like I said, there are so many other games. I'll probably say the game that I'm least interested in: Chiefs and Steelers.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but that game is just there. And I want to be interested in it because. Either, hey, it's Tristan. Yeah, we got the
What's up?
The baby, the baby good. We got the baby.
Sleep. She's on the camera.
Okay, that's all we. That's all I need. Because we got to take care of the kids. Now, if this one would just, if you hear some thumping. Mine is over here doing aerobics or something. I don't know what he's doing. He just gave me the mean face. So if you see something again, if I fall through the floor or if I get something thrown at me, it's either my husband or my child has came after me. But we just talked about the Cowboys game and we talked about Rams and Cardinals game. And we are talking about our least interested game. The least interested. And right now, like I said, and I think Tony agreed, it's Chiefs and Steelers. But, like I said, this could be either a miracle game. It could be the Cinderella story. Big Ben makes a miracle comeback and beats the hot young Mahomes. That's the storyline. You see the storyline? Or
I see it. It's not gonna happen, but I see it.
I like what you're
killing. You like what I'm trying? I'm trying to do. Or the real story is Patrick Mahomes kills the Steelers by himself.
Yeah,
that's more likely. Yeah, that's more likely.
This game, I called it Ben's retirement game.
Yes.
Yes. This is the swan song. This is it. This is it.
I didn't want him to go out like this. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a really big fan.
Honestly,
but I didn't want him to go out like this.
I really wish the Ravens had won because even that game, the way the game ended, the fact that it was a defensive struggle it was classic Steelers Ravens. I'd have been content. The fact that we're about to watch this onslaught take place. Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I watched it and I was like, my mom was like, "Why are you watching that game?" I said, "Because this might be big. This is Big Ben's last one."
Oh yeah, it's his last one.
And so that's what my whole storyline was watching that Ravens Steelers game. It's just
thanks a lot, Brandon Staley. Thanks a lot.
Anthony, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not even gonna go. Well, it'll go to DVD. It'll be in those $5 bins that you see at Walmart, like them B-rated. Ain't no.
It sounded good though. That story, it sounded good. Like I said,
It's Brandon Staley's fault. Thank you, Brandon Staley, for calling that timeout. We appreciate you.
Yes,
and you had one job.
And to be 100% honest with you, I feel bad for Big Ben, but to be honest with you, you probably also you wouldn't be in this situation too if you would have either just figured out if you want to win or lose against the Lions. Honestly, if you didn't want to be in this situation, lose to the damn Lions.
Tony,
don't tie.
Was I the only one that was tortured by that?
Torture. Oh no, I was like, really? Like, neither one of you want to win.
Please, someone do this.
Just win the game.
This W.
Yeah, just win the game. Yeah, no.
I was going for the Lions to win because my friend's a Lions fan, and I was just like, win. And then they tied. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and yeah.
Both of y'all had one job. Just
job. And it's not even like neither team weren't in the position to win it at the end. Like all the kickers had to do was make kicks, and it was like, nah.
That's it.
Nah.
It was so brutal. It was so brutal watching that game. I was just like, so none of y'all want to win this game? Okay,
nope.
Cool.
Like y'all cut everything off. Like y'all went to the extra whatever to show this game, to show us the missed field goals.
Yep,
that's what y'all did. Okay,
it was an eyesore. It was a tough watch.
Yeah, that I would probably say was one of the worst NFL games this season.
Yeah,
hands down. Like,
so I'm looking at this. Okay. So I'm looking at this bracket. And so while she comes back, I'm gonna go through mine real quick. So,
okay, I'm listening. I was listening. I had to tell my son to go potty. It's bathroom time, and of course, fine. I got the whole crying.
So did y'all make picks like all the way through?
We haven't made our picks. We haven't made our picks yet. We just talked about individual games, and I was just gonna do first round.
Mm-hmm.
Just do wild card weekend. So whatever games are playing this weekend, just make those picks, and then we'll just see how good we did on Wednesday, and then we'll do next weekend's, and then predict. Unless you want to do the whole prediction, you can go for it. Not stopping since there's only three of us. Because I was doing it small because I thought there was gonna be like six of us, so I didn't want us to be here 15,462 years.
Not with the exact number though, but
yes, to a T.
That's how it would have been. But that's what everybody knows, because somebody, especially if Freddie was here, Freddie would have said, "And that bad man." That's my in Green Bay. That's my Freddie impression. I love you, Freddie. If you're listening to this or ever going to listen to this,
but I'm down. I'm down either way that y'all want to go with this.
Okay, we can do it all the way. But since Green Bay is off, I was just going to I'll do this weekend first. Tony, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I guess do you want to do it, everybody? Like, I have like the green, like next first game is Bengals Raiders. Even though I'm excited about that story, I still think Bengals are going to win.
Okay.
Chiefs, of course, we just spoke about it. This Patriots-Bills game, my heart is telling me Bills. My mind is telling me Bill Belichick.
That's fair.
So I'm picking the Patriots. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know. But it's Bill Belichick. Like, this man just does something. I got Buccaneers, but I'm kind of leery because everybody on their team is hurt and no Antonio Brown. And
I'm assuming you're taking the Chiefs.
Yes, right. I said the Chiefs. Sorry about that. Chiefs, and then like I said, the Buccaneers. The Eagles could somehow accidentally win this because the Buccaneers are hurt, and the Eagles almost beat them earlier this season. Like, they were one of those teams that took them down to the wire. So, but I still got the Buccaneers. Rams.
I was like, what Rams, are we saying?
Yeah. No. So we're still thinking the Buccaneers, Rams, and then I got the Cowboys with the asterisk mark. The asterisk mark means of all the things me and Tony said. I don't know if they're going to win. I'm scared. I'm really scared. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah. So, yeah, for the AFC, I'm gonna say the Chiefs. Big Ben, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and put it now. I'll put it on the ASAP Sports page, everything like that. We're gonna start a GoFundMe to put the Kansas City Chiefs in prison for the murder they're about to commit on national television, and the fact that they're gonna air that shouldn't be legal. That's not even right.
Not even right.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna go with LDZ. I'm gonna say the Pats, and I say that because I think Bill Belichick is gonna treat this just like he did the first time that they played Buffalo. It's gonna be crappy weather again. So what are the Patriots gonna do? They're gonna run the ball. Be solid defense. If Mac has to throw, he's gonna do short, intermediate passes. He's not going to force the ball down the field. I will say one thing for Mac's rookie year, he's been great about not doing that, and I think he'll be solid, and the Patriots will bring home the win for that. I do see it being a low-scoring game, just like the first time. I had the Bengals over the Raiders because, like I said, the Raiders played almost 90 snaps on defense last Sunday night, so they've played the late game. They have to spend a day to travel, and you're playing on a Saturday, so realistically, you've only had 5 days to be rested to start these playoffs. So I think it's not going to take much for the Raiders to fold. Cincinnati has a four-headed monster in Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, and T. Higgins. That's just not even fair. And a defense that has played extremely much above expectations.
Yeah,
so I
especially in the second half of the season.
For sure.
Who knew Joe Mixon was going to go off like the way he did? I'm just going to throw that out there because to be honest,
he's been.
I knew he was going to go do good, but went off like he's doing, like what he's doing this season. You really do. Okay, Tristan, we're going to talk about that in a second.
He's been consistent for him.
He has been consistent.
Yeah, he's been that way for years. Like he's never going to be like leading the league in rushing. Like he wasn't that way.
He's always going to be quality.
Yeah, but he's almost always going to give you almost about 1,000 yards and about almost 10 touchdowns, if not right at about 10 every year. So I mean, he's been solid for them ever since they drafted.
I feel like it's just he hasn't been injured this season like he has in the past. So that's what I mean. Like he is like really like on it this season. He's been on it.
If you're incorporating the fact that he's been the healthiest really of his career, I'll give you that for sure.
Yeah, like no one saw this. Just like no one saw Leonard Fournette doing what he was doing in Tampa. Like no one saw that. Like I even drafted Leonard Fournette on my fantasy, and I didn't expect that.
I'm an LSU fan,
but his ankles.
But I knew what Jacksonville asked of him. Mm-hmm. He couldn't do that. No. He was never that at LSU. He was not that person. But for Tampa Bay, absolutely.
What O-line do you have in Jacksonville the entire time he was there? Yeah, I'm an LSU fan, and I agree wholeheartedly. Watching him at LSU, that was a blast because I'm a big LSU fan, and it just sucks. I agree with LDZ. I think the Bucs and Eagles game is actually going to be a lot closer. It's supposed to be really crappy weather there too. And I think the Bucs are going to struggle throwing the ball as a result. Now, if they get Fournette back, that will help if they're able to hopefully establish that run game. But the Eagles are really good at the run, and the Bucs are good at stopping it. So,
you mean the Bucs are going to struggle catching the football because Tom Brady's going to throw the football.
Oh yeah, he's going to throw it. But yeah, they're going to.
Ain't the weather going to be bad for Tom Brady.
True. But this is one I see coming down to maybe like a field goal. I kind of see it being a low scoring game, maybe like 28-27 Bucs. So I am going to take the Bucs in a win because I mean, like LDZ said, as much as I dislike the dude, it's Tom bleeping Brady. Like the dude's going to figure out a way to freaking win every damn time. I'm gonna be honest. On the Hoosier Huddle just before this, I picked against my own team.
That's why I got the asterisk.
And LDC, I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna have to pick the Niners over Dallas. And
I get it. I get it.
And
I get it.
I say that Dallas, like I said, Dallas went 6-0 against their division, but it's the NFC East. The NFC East is trash. They went 6-5 against everybody else. They beat one team that, well, technically they beat two teams that are in the playoffs. They beat the Eagles twice and they beat the Patriots. That's it. Patriots really haven't beat any big name teams except for the Titans. That was it. But the Titans without Derrick Henry and pretty much struggles whenever A.J. Brown isn't on the field. And then the 49ers. The 49ers have beat consistent competition this year.
Yep.
They're in the NFC West. I think they beat Arizona at least once. They for sure beat the Rams once. They beat up on the Seahawks, and it's a hot team. Deebo Samuel, Dallas doesn't do well with trick plays. They do not do well against those wide receiver screens. They don't do well against those, jet sweeps, the Wildcats, nothing. And Deebo Samuel is going to eat our lunch, unfortunately. Again, my hope is Jimmy G is starting, so that's my hope. Maybe Jimmy G, like I said, quote unquote, shits the bucket. I'm hoping he does, but I think the 49ers end up pulling it out, and then I'm going to go with the Rams in the NFC as well. But Tristan, who do you have, good sir?
It's pretty solid. So I'm just going to read it from top bottom and go over. So again, the Ben Roethlisberger retirement game. So that's pretty obvious. Ooh. So we'll go with the Chiefs on that one. I'm going with the Patriots just off of Bill Belichick's experience in these type of situations. I think this is still that monkey on the shoulder for the Bills with the Patriots. So I'm going to go with the Patriots on that, but I do think it'll be a competitive game. For the Bills, if they can get a run game, they will win games like this. That's really the issue, is that the run game is not enough. And I don't understand, because Singletary's not a bad back. I really don't understand why it's not working, but that's the issue for them. So the Patriots will win that one. I have the Bengals edging this out, but I do think this will be a competitive game. I've always been a Derek Carr fan. I know he's not a popular QB, but I don't know. He's scrappy. He's a gamer. He's been very clutch this season. He's pulled a lot of games out this year, and I think with the whole John Gruden cloud being gone, it just allows them to play a lot more free. It's just too much firepower over there with Joe Burrow in the game. So I think the Bengals will definitely edge that out. I got the Buccaneers beating the Eagles. Again, it's just strength for strength. Leonard Fournette is supposed to be cleared to come back and play, and he was big time playoff Lenny. So I think they can balance that out going with the Eagles, even though the Eagles do have a quality run game. I just don't think it's enough firepower to compete with Tom Brady. Tom Brady will figure it out. That offense will figure it out. And plus experience with Bruce Arians. He's been in so many of these situations, and Nick Sirianni is a first-time head coach. So, the coaching does matter, especially in the postseason. Dallas and 49ers. I have two sports podcasts that I do, and both of them I said that this would be the most intriguing game this weekend. Man. I probably got to go 49ers.
And I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have to go 49ers because I'm looking at the record of the Cowboys, who they've lost to, and who they've beaten. And who they've beaten, they've destroyed, but they're supposed to beat them. But who they've lost to are basically what you're going to see in postseason. So I'm just like, I don't know. And the 49ers, with all the injuries that they've had, they still find ways to pull it out. People say what they want about Jimmy G, but he does steer the ship. Deebo Samuel is an absolute weapon. Running the football is never an issue with the 49ers. And I feel like that defense will get up and to get after Dak Prescott. I got to go with the 49ers on that one.
I get it. Dakota, I get what Dakota Rain is going to feel some rain.
Yeah, he's going to
feel some heat.
Now, LDZ, if he wins, are you going to start calling him Dak again? If he wins,
it's Dakota. We start taking Dakota. We take a letter off to get back to the Dak. So he's at Dakota. He's in Dakota basically this whole season because, like I said, he hasn't beaten anybody that is worth like.
When he said what slump, I'm like, what you mean, bro?
Oh, no, I've been playing fine. No, bro.
Yeah, okay. Right? Like Derek Carr has almost better numbers than you. Like besides Derek Carr, like not interception, but Derek Carr yardage and is almost better than you. And like we had a whole conversation about Derek Carr on Tuesday on my show, and someone asked if he was a top 10 QB. I don't think he's a top 10 QB. I think he's probably a top 15. Well, over, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 15 through 20 QB. But his numbers have gotten better each year that he's been there. And that's what you want in your quarterback, no matter how just if average or good of a QB you have, you want that quarterback's numbers to get better. The only thing that didn't get better this season with Derek was his interceptions. But everything else, he's gotten better. And that's why I think this game is going to be closer than what we all three have said. I think this game is going to be closer than what people think. But Cincy, that 3-headed, 4-handed, they got weapons. And that team could actually win it all. If they play right, if they play their offense plays everything great. Yeah. We've seen them lose to some BS, some teams they ain't supposed to lose to, but but this team, Ja'Marr Chase. I was a victim of the Ja'Marr Chase 269. I was a victim, but I still somehow won because none of her other wide receivers showed up. Nobody else showed up. That's how. And Tom effing Brady showed up that week.
Mm-hmm.
Tom effing Brady came up, showed out, and I was like, for the bottom of my heart, I won. And it was we were the only two females. That's what was so bad. That I think the best part of it was the only two females out of 10, 10 of us, and we were in the finals. And she had Ja'Marr Chase. He is amazing.
He's a baller. He's a baller.
I will say this rookie class has been very impressive. It's a memorable one.
Yeah, they looked up for sure.
Yeah, from offensive to defensive, this rookie class.
Yeah,
you will remember this.
I would say that for this class and the class before it, these last two classes, as far as draft life, has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't say that for coming up class. We'll have to see because
there's not a lot of big names.
There's nothing.
Listen, don't get me started. I'm a Washington fan. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
The Commanders. You're a Commander fan.
Listen, the Admirals. I don't know what we're going to be called.
Look, I'm hearing the Commanders is there.
Tristan, can you please go talk to them and just tell them to pay whatever money they got to pay to get Red Wolves? Come on, you get a howl in the end zone, you get the color scheme. I
visioned it so well. Do you know how much that broke my heart when they said they couldn't get the name? I'm like, you're the sixth richest franchise. What?
That dude must have wanted. That dude must have been asking for hella money because he scooped up 22, 23 names to make sure y'all couldn't get them.
Well, and here's my thing. Sorry, why not be smart about it? Why not be okay, I'll sell you the name for, we'll say what, $100 million up front, and then I get 10% of your earnings for 20 plus years. 10%.
Negotiate it like that. Something. You really gonna pass up on Red Bulls? It was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect.
It fits everything. Now, I saw a lot of people say they still wanted was it Red Hogs or Red Tails so they could keep the HTTR going?
I would have been cool with the Red Tails just for the respect of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Mm-hmm.
Red Hogs, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Come on, man. The Hogs of the 80s and the 90s. Come on, man. The Hogs.
I get it. I'm a traditionalist. I get it, but I wouldn't have wanted that at all. But for it to be like either the Commanders or the Admirals, or I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
no, I ain't
that's
gonna
what
lie.
you want us to rally. You want us to rally behind that. That's what you want us to go with. Like,
and I'm a kind of be that little bit of a sarcastic that sarcastic guy. As somebody that's in the military currently, and I'm not in the Navy, I feel excluded because they're only using naval names. And ain't everybody like the Navy. Ain't nobody like the Navy. Like, come on, man. Like,
I would have taken
all inclusive.
I just didn't want them to get red tails. I was praying to God they didn't get red tails. Like, out of all the names, I didn't want, just because of the history of red tails. And I was like, y'all gonna mess that up. Y'all gonna mess the whole history of red tails up. Like, I don't need y'all to mess up my Black history. Like, if you don't know about what the back history of red tails, please watch the movie. If you don't, if you ain't gonna watch the movie, if you don't know the history of it. But yeah, so that's why I was praying. But yeah, I heard as my friend is a huge, probably one of the my friends. I have two friends that are like the biggest DC fans, and they go to every game. Like, they have season tickets and they travel to every game. And he posted the Commanders is what he's hearing. So yeah,
I still have this from 2015.
Oh wow!
When I was stationed there, it was Dallas versus, at the time, the Redskins, and Dallas won 19-16 was the final, and that was actually the year that they won the division in 2015.
Okay, it's 2015. No, because I was thinking, I was thinking some other game. No, it was the Eagles. I almost had to fight an Eagles fan because.
Well, it's funny. I went there because we presented the colors on the field as part of the military like color presentation, and so they're like, "Here's tickets. You guys can stay for the entire game if you want to." So I was like, "Well, I'm going to bring a change of clothes because I don't want to sit here in my uniform after I'm done." So I brought my Cowboys jersey, and of course, all the Army guys were like, "Air Force, if you get your ass kicked, we're not helping you." I'm like, I mean, I get it. I ain't gonna start nothing with nobody, but come on, y'all could at least help me. Like, I'm just sitting here enjoying a beer. Like, help me out at least, like something, man. Come
on. Right.
I got your back, Tony. Forget them.
I appreciate that. I mean, I ain't as worried about it now, because I mean, like I said, I lived in DC for about 5 years, so I mean, I was okay in DC. Like, for being a 6'3" skinny white guy, I can get around most cities pretty well. I ain't got no issue.
Yeah, you can fit in DC. You can fit in DC very well. 6'3".
I fit in really well.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go to the next round. I don't even know what the next round would be. The next round would be.
Sorry, real quick, Tristan. Who do you got for the Rams and Cardinals? Because I don't.
I didn't pick that.
It's another one.
I think the Cardinals are a little too early.
Something about the Cardinals. It's like I want to pick the Cardinals. Like, something in me wants to pick them, but we've been down this path before, and I feel like they're going to. Yeah, and I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know if it's Kyler. I don't know if it's because of no D-Hop. Or all three, all three of the factors playing a part. But like, I agree. It's something's not there just yet. And I think D-Hop missing is probably one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Now, they could screw this up.
Yeah.
Sean McVay and Matt Stafford can screw this up. They can. Very much so. So I'm not going to be shocked.
Yeah.
If it were to happen, because it's just Sean McVay is like when you have a kid and you put a kid in a candy store and they don't know what to do with themselves in there, so just balls to wall, just crazy. That's Sean McVay. Sean McVay was like, He inherited
I feel like he's been like that his whole career too.
And that's where I'm getting at with it. He got this team, and the owners basically said, "Here's a blank check. Go get what you think you need to get." He's like, "Okay, I'm going to bring in Von Miller. Oh, okay, I'm going to bring in Jalen Ramsey. Okay, I'm going to trade this person, trade this person. We're going to bring in OBJ. Okay, cool. Now we're going to. I got to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, but I felt like I could have won if I had somebody else. So go give me Matt Stafford. I don't care what you got to trade. I don't care what you got to trade. I don't care what you got to give, but just give me those guys." So you're not picking in the first round anytime soon. You took all this money in because you gave a big contract to Sue when he was there at the time because you're like, you needed somebody to pair with Aaron Donald. You did all these things. You have to get a chip. So they potentially can screw it up because we're now at a place where it's like, okay, what got you to the Super Bowl last time was Todd Gurley and play action, RPOs and things like that. That's what got you to the Super Bowl. You have gone away from that because you're like, I got big arm Matt Stafford and all these wide receivers, Cooper Kupp breaking single season receiving records, all this stuff. So
their running game has been kind of iffy and hurt.
Well, and remember Cam Akers got hurt early on.
So he's back.
I'm wondering now, because Cam Akers is back, if McVay is like, okay, we got him back. Now we can go back to what we were doing, take some of the load off of Matt Stafford and the crew, feeling like he got to throw the ball like 40, 50 times a game.
Yeah. Yeah, because Sony Michel has been getting heat up. Once they've been giving him the ball, I will say Sony has really been doing better as of lately. And I don't know if that's because of he needed to, you know what I'm saying? Or they actually just started giving him the ball. Right. I feel like if you what is the saying, like, you lose it if you don't use it, like, and that's how I feel before Sony, because he wasn't getting it. He was rusty, like, and that's how I feel about his stats. Like, he's had 100-yard game this year, and that was against Jacksonville, but that was in December. Actually, yeah, too. I'm sorry. It did over 100 against Minnesota. But the last basically month, because that's where basically they needed him, he's had 79, 92, 74. Last two games, of course, were okay, 74 and 43. But he's had a decent, I will say, for the numbers compared to the first part of that season, his second half was way better than the first half. And I agree with you. If Cam Akers does what he's supposed to, what we think Cam Akers is going to do, and Sony Michel, they could do a two-headed monster run game. And like you said, they could alleviate some of that. But will Sean McVay do that shit? Again, he's a kid at the candy store. Will he do it?
Yeah.
Well, like, what has been working for you?
I don't know if he wants to prove or help Matt Stafford prove that it wasn't Matt Stafford's fault in Detroit. Like, look what Matt Stafford could be when you give him a solid team. But I have a friend of mine, he says it all the time. He's like, y'all acting like Matt Stafford had bums. Matt Stafford had Calvin Johnson. Matt Stafford had some people. I just think he had bad coaching.
Yeah.
Not really too much sense, Calvin Johnson.
Well, no, to add to Tristan's point, really, we saw the best Matt Stafford when Jim Caldwell was the coach.
Yep. There we go.
Like that was his best time. That was the best Lions franchise we had seen in 60 plus years. Was when Jim Caldwell was the coach.
And they fired him.
Yeah, they fired him for Matt Patricia. Man went 9-7 2 years in a row. Even got them to a playoff game, and they said, "You know who we want? This Patriots defensive coordinator. We're gonna get rid of the guy that's been consistent."
Like he screams just douche, like just scum, like just a straight. Somebody just want to punch in the mouth like the first time you see him. Like that's what every time I see Pat Patricia, I don't know what it is about him.
You know what it is? He looks like somebody from Duck Dynasty got to coach in the NFL.
I liked the dynasty, but yeah, I really something about them just.
Here's my issue with them. Actually, with all of them except for Brian Flores. They all go to these teams, and they'll be like, they try to be Bill Belichick 2.0. That's really the problem.
Yeah,
they all go to these other teams and like, it's me. I'm the son. I'm the chosen one out of the Belichick tree. Mm-hmm. And they all fail miserably, except for Brian Flores.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what the Miami Dolphins were thinking. Don't even give me. Because I'm gonna go on a whole tangent. I don't know what
we're about to talk about that in a second. That's right there, like our last last thing.
Save my energy from when we get on that topic, but it's just, I don't understand. Well, I don't know what Bill does to give them the vote of confidence to feel the way they feel when they go to these teams. But it's just a sense of arrogance that is like no other. Joe Judge is the same way. They're all like that. They're all like that. And I don't understand. I really don't.
And is any of them still coaching?
Matt Patricia went back to the Patriots, if I remember right.
Yeah, he did.
They all crawl back. They all
come back because they have to. They don't have success anywhere else.
Yeah, I was like, anybody besides Brian Flores, like I said, we'll talk about that in a second. Because trust me, my festivity levels were on another one.
Oh.
And yeah, so I have a question with that. About that. We'll talk about that in a second. Since we did that, real quick, I guess we can just go. We don't have to go through like every game of who you think is going to win. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl altogether?
I'm gonna say the Chiefs.
Chiefs. I was about to say that.
Because I'll be honest, you know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for the NFC Championship. Can't wait for the Packers to be there. Can't wait for Packers to be in the NFC Championship. All Aaron Rodgers has to do is audible, do a play other than whatever he has called in the huddle, and he can potentially win the game. I can't wait for Aaron Rodgers to screw it up. Can't wait for Freddie to come on here and make all of his excuses. Because, he could have run the ball. Yeah, he could have. You know what? You want to know the most that he's run this year on a broken freaking toe is when Aaron Rodgers decides, I want to run the ball now. Cool. You could have run the ball last year, went to the damn Super Bowl, but you didn't. Now you decide to when you break your damn toe. No. So that's what I can't wait for is when Aaron Rodgers chokes, like he's going to. Jordan Love is going to be the future in Green Bay, and I am so excited for it. And in Kansas City to win it all.
So I picked Green Bay.
No. LTZ, no. LTZ, why? Why?
That's why I was like sitting here like, I was scared. Like I was not even saying anything.
No. Why? We were so good.
I was so scared. Like,
Is it because I picked the 49ers over there? I'll observe this.
So I picked Green Bay after Tony had a good rant about how they were gonna choke. He was gonna make Freddie eat his words, and oh man.
So
my story is why I'm picking Green Bay. I'm picking Green Bay because for one, I think it's A.A. Ron's last year there. I think it's Adams' last year there. So I think they're going to go out with a bang. I think this is kind of like the Rams. You know, they're all in or nothing. But Green Bay has a better team to do all in or nothing. And I think Green Bay, you know, and I have a feeling, you know, A.A. Ron might retire. If he gets a ring, He's retired. Aaron is retired.
The thing about Aaron, he is the type of character where if he gets a championship, knowing that his skills are still there, would retire. I fully agree with you. Like he's that type of character.
Yep.
I had to check my daughter real quick, but I was listening to Tony's rant. I'm like, it was a good
rant.
I was like, wait. I was like, wait. What happened? I was right there with you, buddy. I was like, yeah. And he, he's like, I'm going to Packers.
No, I said I go.
She did. She was like,
I'm going to go Packers. For the Packers. And I was like, Tony, I was like covering my face because I knew. Because I'm trying not to crack up laughing. This is a good. It was a good rant. It was a really good rant.
The thing for me is, I am an Aaron Rodgers fan. I don't care that he's smug. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care about those things. I was so mad that he didn't run the ball.
You ain't doing nothing but being the
bro. You were right. The lane was there. Like no one would have touched you, and you'd have punched your ticket to the Super Bowl. Like I was so mad. I watched it and I couldn't believe he did that. Like
that's my problem with Aaron. I'm with you. I don't care that he's smug. I don't there's a lot of smug quarterbacks out there. They make millions of dollars to literally throw a football for a career.
Exactly.
They're allowed to be smug. But I agree. I don't like Aaron because Aaron's like, well, it's not me. It's not my fault, bro. It was 4th and 1. Make an attempt. If you run the ball,
championship game, bro.
If you run the ball and you don't make it, okay. That's fine. If you fumble it, okay, that's fine. You fumbled it. But you did everything in your power to go do it. Aaron's just like, nah, I'm going to go whatever play my OC called. Let me just chuck this on out of bounds here. And
someone said that to me. They were like, well, if he had ran and didn't make it, then you would have said he should have thrown it. I was like, no, I wouldn't. If you watched it, how it all played out. If he ran and couldn't make it, hey, they were just better than you that time.
Yeah, he tried, yeah.
The memes that week, the memes that day were amazing. And like I said, I don't have nothing wrong. I don't have nothing against Aaron besides he's an idiot in his personal life. But on the field, I can't deny his skills of what he does on the field. And that is why I'm picking him. Like what he is doing, I think, I am praying to sweet baby Jesus and all the gods, whatever God you pray to, Allah, Buddha, whatever, no God, that he has learned from last year.
I think
if you see an open lane, you run. Even Tom Brady, slow ass, is out there running. Because he made a whole video. He made a whole video after Tony Romo made a comment. He made a whole video.
I'm the fastest one on the field, Tony.
His troll game is amazing.
I've never seen Tom Brady in his 20 years of football scramble more than he has this season.
Yep.
Never seen it. Yeah, never seen it.
I agree, and it's because I think it's because of all the of course the injuries. But yeah, Tom Brady over here trying to show us that he can still do it.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think for me, the reason why I want Aaron to be in the Super Bowl so badly is because I feel like it will justify his smugness. Yeah. It's like people get on him because they're like, man, you haven't won a Super Bowl in over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, but when you watch the game, it's hard not to say that Aaron Rodgers is the best player on the field. So it's kind of like, if he could get a second one, it would kind of really cement it as him being one of the more talented QBs we've ever seen. I mean, people that understand the game will still say that, but for the casual fan, that's going to be a thing.
Well, and it's almost going to sound crazy, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers would do it like Tristan said, because I think he obviously he wants another Super Bowl. Like if he didn't want another one, he wouldn't have played this year. Do you think there's probably a small part of Aaron that would almost, I'm not going to say choke in the Super Bowl, but maybe come down to one of those similar moments like the championship, and maybe he doesn't put as much effort into it just because he's like, you know what, Green Bay, I don't want to give you another Super Bowl. I'll go to another Super Bowl with another team, but I don't want to give it to you guys just as one last little spite to Green Bay as he's leaving.
I don't think he would do that to the team.
Yeah,
because I think he generally loves the people that he plays with.
Yeah, I do. I agree with that.
The front office, that relationship is what that is.
Yeah.
But he genuinely loves the people he plays with.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would do that to them. I do think if he gets into the Super Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised like in the first quarter, first half, he struggles because I do think he probably would play tight. I do think that. I think because he has to, what he knows is what we know.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers, physically, all the traits in the world, Aaron Rodgers, pound for pound, is probably the most talented QB we've ever seen as far as the total package. But the reason why he's not going to be mentioned, he hasn't been mentioned with the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings of the world, and guys like that, the John Elways, like in that pantheon, is because he only has one championship.
Yep.
And he knows that's what's eluding him. It was the same thing with Drew Brees, but Drew Brees' talent just diminished to a point that there was nothing more he could do. But Drew Brees had the same issue. Mm-hmm. He knew he was not going to get mentioned in that realm because he only has one championship.
Yeah.
And his was back in what, 2009?
Yep. So after Hurricane Katrina.
Right. Yeah. 2000. Yeah, he won it, and then Green Bay won it the following year.
Because Green Bay won
it, which made the whole thing with the Rams that non-pass interference that was really pass interference. It really made it heartbreaking because I was like, when that happened,
that was a great play.
Yeah. Okay.
He's like, I'm done with you.
that was robbery. That referee should have got.
I loved it because I don't like the Saints. I don't like the Saints whatsoever. So like they've made it more of a rivalry with us that I didn't know there was a Cowboys Saints rivalry. But obviously the Saints fans thinks they're one. The Saints fans I know thinks there's one. So I just don't like them.
When they lost that game, I was like, that was it for Drew Brees. He's never going to get that close again. Yeah, he's never getting that close again. So for Aaron, I don't want that to be the same thing for Aaron.
So which one did it? The Rams one or the Minnesota one?
I would say the Rams one.
The Rams one, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you think about it, the Rams weren't bad. Like the Rams had a good season that year, but they did struggle in the playoffs, and they only scored 3 points against the Patriots. And I think nationally, it would have garnered more attention if you would have seen Drew Brees versus Tom Brady on the big stage. Look at how much attention it garnered Drew Brees' last year in the league. It was like, hey, we get to see Tom Brady and Drew Brees twice in a year, and then they both went to the playoffs, and it's like, ooh, we get to see one last time.
Yeah. And some advertisements was already trying to kind of pitch that because they just felt like that was what was going to be in the Super Bowl was Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. Yeah. What makes the Rams one so egregious and heartbreaking is it rarely do we say like a call would cost someone the game because you'd be like, well, there's other factors that could have played a part or whatever, that caused the outcome of the game. That call, that no call cost them the game. It would have put them at the 10-yard line with the clock draining on the fourth quarter. With the clock running, that cost them the game. And it's just like, people were like, we're being so ridiculous because they were like having conversations about maybe they should replay the game. I'm like, the reason why that's a conversation, even though we know that wouldn't have happened, but the reason why that's even brought up in conversation is because of how egregious that was and how detrimental that was for that team. Yeah, that was a detrimental call for that franchise. Yeah. Like that's going to haunt them as a franchise for a while if they don't get another Super Bowl, in anytime soon, which it doesn't look like they will. Like that's going to haunt them.
Not with Taysom.
So exactly,
or I eat my W fingers. Yeah.
As a football fan, that was a heartbreaking.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Well, I know you loved it, but for me, that was a heartbreaking thing to see. I never want to see a game turn out like that.
I don't want to see that. At the same time, like I understand why they were mad. Don't get me wrong. I understood why they were mad. I understand why like the typical fan was mad. But yeah, I was so because the Saints fans, they were getting cocky, and I'm like, now they ain't so cocky no more. It kind of like humble, like they had got a slice of humble. That's when they started eating humble pie, like seriously, and they've been eating it ever since, and they've been like eating it.
I'll tell you, as a growing up in Indianapolis, Colts fans got that in 2010, and it was
amazing.
Oh, it was so sweet. Because I remember, like, I grew up in Indianapolis my entire life. Nobody was a Colts fan until 2006. Like, you had a few. There wasn't a big city like, oh, the Colts. No, there wasn't none of that until after they won the Super Bowl, and then everybody was on the Colts bandwagon. But they were either a Peyton Manning fan, and he just happened to play for the Colts, or they were actual Colts fans. And yeah, that 2010 year, because I remember telling everybody, I was like, they're going to go like 2-14. Oh, I know they're not. This team's built. And I'm like, your team's old. Peyton Manning is literally the driving force behind this team. Watch your entire team crumble. And they did. And what capped it off even better was Dallas beat them that year and beat Peyton Manning with John Kitna and a bunch of backup. It wasn't 2010. It was 2011 when Peyton Manning was out the entire year.
Yeah, because I was gonna say because I was like Peyton Manning ruined my fantasy that year because I had him drafted, and on my birthday, he like, I'm getting neck surgery.
Yep, it was out.
Happy birthday! That was a great birthday gift from Peyton.
But yeah, Colts fans got humbled that year. Now they kind of came back when Andrew Luck, came back, but now Colts fans are super humbled. I can't tell you how many times now I can drive into Indianapolis because I have a big Cowboys Star license plate. I got Cowboy stuff all over my car. Nobody says a word to me now. Not like used to. I used to get all sorts of hate. Like, how are you a Cowboys fan in Indianapolis? Because I like a good team. Thanks. And I agree with Damien. I also grew up watching a lot of Bears games. That's part of why I kind of became a Bears fan, was the Jay Cutler, the Lovie Smith, Brian Urlacher, and that scoring defense was fantastic. And I obviously watched Lovie in 2006. Oh, I love Lovie. I actually mentioned it on the Hoosier Huddle coaching combo I would love to see happen that I think would be fantastic. Jim Caldwell is the head coach in Denver, and Lovie Smith is his defensive coordinator.
Of course, yeah.
That would be
Lovie. I watched Lovie. I fell in love with Lovie when he came to the Rams. Like, that's when I started really watching him, because my mom's a Rams fan and they were in St. Louis, and then I followed them after that, and I could see that happening. I'm waiting for Tristan to come back so we could talk about these fired coaches.
I know.
He's probably eating. I saw him getting ready. I saw him eating something over there. There he is. So these fired coaches out. That'll be the last topic because we are actually kind of a little bit over, but it's okay. These fired coaches. The Brian Flores situation is really interesting to me because, like we stated before, number one, he shouldn't have been fired. Let's just throw that out there. We all, agree. But now, Texans have fired their coach.
Yep.
And they want Brian Flores as their coach.
Or David Mayo. David Mayo is also been linked to there.
They want, from what I'm hearing, they want Brian Flores. He's number one. He was
their first interview. He was their first interview.
He's their number one option. And I really think, and it's because Watson likes Brian Flores.
Mm-hmm.
And they are really thinking and hoping this whole 22-woman case is going to go away quietly, underneath some rafters.
They're hoping.
Yeah, so they're hoping.
But you got to think too. Roger Goodell's probably still going to suspend him just because the allegations.
But they'll live with that. They'll live with the 6-game suspension.
Yeah.
Well, will it be 6 though? Because I only say that because as a Cowboys fan, you look at when Zeke got suspended, the charges were dropped. Like Zeke didn't have any legal action against him, and Roger Goodell was like 6 games, you're done.
It better be 6 or are going to show up at the door of Roger Goodell. It better be 6.
I could see Goodell pulling out some BS and be like, you know what, you're suspended for like 10 games or some BS like that.
I think Goodell was hammering more on Zeke because of Jerry.
Yep.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he likes the Texans owner.
Because remember, Jerry was trying to intervene and try not to get the suspension at all. He was trying to run a coup against Roger Goodell.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said that Goodell secretly hates the Cowboys, and it's not really. It's pretty openly out there. He hates the Cowboys, but that's just me being a crazy conspiracy theorist
for sure.
No, but it's not crazy. It's real.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's real, but he, I can see somewhere, in fantasy world, because that's where I feel like we're at right now, that Watson will actually play for Forrest. Like, I'm not saying, I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of pissed off as a woman that we're at the end of the season and nothing has came.
Nothing has.
Came for it. No update.
But Zeke, his was done, like interviewed, done. I understand it's 22 women, so I understand it takes a little bit longer. But these women have came out and complained that the NFL is like done absolutely nothing. Yeah. They have, and that's where I feel like I agree with you, Tristan, on like the difference of owners.
Mm-hmm.
The difference of owners, they you could see one is favored and when one is not, and one is one favored. Like this is, I really feel like they're trying to push this Tristan situation under the rug and hoping by by this season, next season that's starting in 2022, we're gonna forget we've forgotten about it. Like, and here comes Watson playing for Flores, the coach that he wanted to play for, and they're going to make this miracle comeback. But as a woman, this is like, how, it makes me think, how can I like this league when you're doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if all 22 women are telling the truth. I don't know. But damn it, it's 22 women with the same damn story.
Yeah, I have a buddy named Desi. Desi's kind of my mentor. He's a older African American gentleman in his 40s, almost 50s. Desi used to always say something to me: if 10 birds are whistling the same song and they don't have anything to do with each other, there's probably some type of truth there if they're all singing the same thing. And I kind of feel that same way with the 22 women. And I feel like the Texans have just gotten themselves in such a mess. And this is part of why I, as a fan, I don't want Brian Flores to go to the Texans. I don't. Mm-hmm. And it's the same way. I don't want Eric Bieniemy to go be the head coach for. There we go. There we go. My internet went weird or something. I don't want Eric Bieniemy to go be the head coach for the Giants or the Jags or the Texans, because I want guys like Brian Flores and Eric Bieniemy to go to franchises that are going to be successful and not ruin their chances of being a head coach. Like Eric Bieniemy has never been a head coach. Same with David Culley. Never been a head coach before. Went to a terrible organization. And the minute you do that, and the minute you fail, everybody's going to be like, well, you're not really going to get a second chance. Or if you do, it'll be like 20 years down the road. No, that's BS. But for Houston, though, you have all the allegations. Completely unacceptable.
Yep.
You brought in a dude, you signed him for 5 years to be your head coach because, quote, Deshaun Watson wanted an African-American head coach.
Yep.
That you shouldn't have really hired to start with anyway, because he's never been a coordinator. He was like the passing game and the quarterback's coach or something like that for the Ravens. You didn't give the dude a chance. He won 4 games with a third-string quarterback that he picked out of the 4th round in Davis Mills, which is more than what any other coach did. That's more than what Dan Campbell did with a first-round pick in Goff. So, to me, that whole franchise, no. If I'm Brian Flores, I don't care if Deshaun starts next year or not. Stay away from that. That's not worth it. They don't have anything really to build around because they're probably gonna get rid of Lovey, and the defense was about the only bright spot that they had last year. They don't have a single good wide receiver to their name. They signed like 6 top running backs.
He wasn't horrible. Cooks had a decent. Cooks had a when healthy. When healthy.
Yeah, they traded DeAndre Hopkins. They got rid of Kenny Still. Kenny Still's their number 2
with that team. You traded DeAndre Hopkins.
And think about all the named running backs that they brought in. They had Mark Ingram. They had Phillip Lindsay. They had David Johnson. They had Duke Johnson. They had there's another Rex Burkhead.
Yeah,
they
Rex
had like
down there.
6 running backs.
Rex is still down. Yeah, 6 Rex.
Yeah, he's still down there.
Yeah.
But you did all of that. You couldn't run the ball. Your offensive line is still in shambles, and that to me is an organization. They're going to be, to me, worse than the Lions. If I'm Brian, I'd stay away from that. You're going to kill your coaching career if you do that.
Yeah. Whoever Texans do hire the head coach, how are they going to pay them when they still have to pay other coaches they fired?
So that comes out of the teams. That comes out of the team. That doesn't go against their salary cap. That's just against the team.
They'll have, they always do like come up with some number though. When the coach is fired, they usually come to some agreement that will pay you X amount of dollars.
Like I think Culley's going to make $22 million by the end of like 3 years. Basically, I think essentially he comes out to like $22 million guaranteed over like 3 years. So that doesn't really come out of it. Same with like the Raiders. The Raiders paid Gruden the 10 years, $100 million. That comes out of the team, and there's different contracts, but that doesn't affect like the team salary cap or anything like that. The coach has.
I felt so bad for Culley because it was like you knew that the Texans really did it to be like, Deshaun, look, we got you a black coach.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. On the pedestal, yeah.
And, I would listen to Culley's press conferences, and he's just so passionate and was so engaged to be the head coach for the Texans, to try to right the ship. And
very well liked across the league.
I just felt so bad for him, and I said this, like I said, I said this on my other show yesterday, and I said that the problem is that with black coaches, with minority coaches, you are putting these coaches in positions where they aren't able to build their vision on the team. They're literally coming in as a cleanup coach, fix everything that was so toxic from the previous regime. And then by the time that they get to the point where they can now say, okay, this is now my team that I can build, you're giving them the axe. Brian Flores is the perfect example of that, because you had Adam Gase there, and for all that Adam Gase did to that team in Miami, like, and the thing that's crazy is that you had Dan Campbell prior to Gase, and the same thing he's doing with the Lions, he was doing with Miami, and we thought like, oh, okay, they're going to probably take Dan Campbell. But they brought in Adam Gase instead, and he just wrecked everything. So Brian Flores is coming in and is like, okay, well, I got to try and figure this out now and clean all this up. And now when we're on the cusp of it, of figuring this out, you give me the axe?
Yeah.
And ironically enough,
and do you think
look at the Jets? The Jets did the same thing with Vance. Was it Vance Joseph or no? Todd Bowles. They had Todd Bowles, and they brought in Adam Gase right afterwards.
Yeah, I have a quick question. For Texans, do you think the Texans fired their coach right when they saw Flores was available?
Absolutely.
Do you think he played a big part in their decision?
Yep.
Absolutely, because they know Deshaun Watson wants to play for Brian Flores.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment that they saw that he got fired, yes.
Yeah.
And again, it makes me feel terrible for Cully.
Yeah.
It makes me feel awful for him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's exactly what was the move.
Yeah.
Exactly was the move.
And to me, I'm kind of pissed at Watson because he wanted an African American coach, and the Texans went and got him one.
And you left him hanging.
Yeah, and then you said, you know what, I'm not going to play. Now, whether or not that's because of the whole allegation thing, or probably a mixture of
he's on the exemption. He's on that. The Texans actually put him on the exemption list. Okay. So technically, that's why they said the NFL has said they never technically suspended him yet, was because they put him on whatever exemption list AB was on.
Oh yeah,
that's what Deshaun Watson is on right now.
Yeah. But to me, that again, you asked for that, that's who you specifically wanted, and then you're like, you know what, I'm not even gonna play for the dude.
Yeah, but like I said, I really think it was because of I think it's really because for one, he didn't get the coach that he wanted. Two, there's so many questions that you can ask, but I think it's the biggest thing is that he didn't get Eric Bieniemy. He didn't get Forrest. They gave him the discounted coach, no offense,
the wish list version.
Yeah, and I think that's how he felt. Yeah. And even though he was a black coach, he didn't see him as what he wanted and his potential. But two, I think he was really hurt that they told him he was going to be able to have a decision or a say so in a lot of things, and they did absolutely the opposite.
Right.
And I get why he felt the way he felt, and because if you told me, I came onto the ASAP network and Freddie told me, Madonna, you're going to have a say so, and let's just say just say the truth. You're going to get the say so of everything, and you're going to get, to see how it's run. And then he pulls that from, under me and says, Tony, you need to do that. And you need to I'm going to be like, hold on, didn't you just tell me?
Mm-hmm.
That was me. So right. I get why, if that's the, because that was the stories that we all heard, that he didn't have the power that they told him that he was going to have. And I feel like even though Dakota doesn't really have it here, he has it more than Deshaun.
Yeah,
for sure. Deshaun's been around, for years. Mm-hmm. So I feel, and Deshaun is their team. You take, you already gave his weapon away. Yeah. So that's it. That's all you got. And if these allegations, somehow you sweep 22 allegations under the rug, like you said, who is he going to throw to? Because I think Cooks was only on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I truly hope Deshaun Watson, all those allegations, something happens where it's I really don't believe it, because you got that many people saying the same story.
Mm-hmm.
Something is there, but I as a fan of him, hope that he comes out. But if all those things deem true, you need to answer for that. I don't care who you are. Them things are true. You got to answer for that, buddy. I don't care. I don't care how good you are. I don't care about none of that. If that's you got to answer. You got to answer to it. If it means your career is done, then so be it.
But I feel like it's going to be done regardless. I don't care how the Texans look at it, because the media has every time a lady stepped up, the media was on it. We're on number 10 now. We're on number 11 now.
They were.
So, and so people have already judged him. People have, so let's just say all these women came out, and the owners, let's just say, because, that's the other rumor, the owners paid these ladies to say half the stuff because he wanted out. And so they wanted to tarnish his name. So let's just let's go that route for a second. And let's just say these ladies are lying. It doesn't matter if these ladies are lying or not. His name is ruined.
Well, and I'm going to say something that's probably a little controversial, but I want to get your guys' perspective on it. You look at all the other negative cases that have happened in the NFL with stuff not completely similar, but in kind of that same realm of like deep water. Look at AP with his kids, Adrian Peterson. Look at Kareem Hunt with his girlfriend. Look at Ray Rice. Ray Rice was immediately just let go and has never came
touched
it.
Even the kicker Brown for the Giants.
Yeah,
never kicked again.
Yep, never kicked again. There's another one that I can't think of off the top of my head. But you have all these really similar situations without hesitation gone. Yep. Now I get it, they're trying to make sure they get all the facts and everything. But if this was any other player, I'd leave.
They'd have been gone.
Yeah, no question about it. Okay, you're done. Bye.
Yeah, and I didn't. That's when you have to ask: is it the owner? You know what I'm saying? How much does the owner have to play in this? Like, how much does the Texans owner? Because I feel like all these other teams that we've named, the owner was never favored. And so that's why they were like, "Oh, you're gone," or "Up, you're suspended." Aaron Hernandez, that whole situation.
Yeah, that was also
that whole situation.
Because he played a full season.
He played all the way through. But his situation was his situation was different because wasn't he fired in the summer? Not fired, but he was arrested in the summer
after the season was over.
After the season,
it was after. Yeah, so it was after the season because I remember him. It was cold. So it was after the season. So his situation, like I said, was just a little bit different because.
Well, yes, and
Robert Kraft don't play that. Like,
but his stuff was
Robert Kraft, Robert might get some things done to him, and but he don't let his players mess up. Oh, you mess up. Oh, you got to go. Like they have a name, and I will say that's one thing about the Patriots I do like.
Yeah, there's a standard. You can't go away from that with them.
Yeah,
especially when Tom Brady was there, because Tom Brady was like the golden boy.
Yeah.
So it was like, no, you can't screw up here.
Yeah, that's why I'm still waiting for that 30 for 30 for the Florida team. I'm still waiting for that because I don't know how you got. I don't know. I just want it.
The players that was on that team, and then you had basically Jesus' second son and Tim Tebow. That is amazing.
With the murderer in a room, like it's literally the joke that we all like.
Well, and think about it. Who was their head coach too? The most childish grown-ass man we've seen from college to NFL in Urban Meyer.
Satan himself.
I just want the documentary. I just want it.
That's all I want. You had literally the murderer, Jesus, the racist, like
drug deals,
drug dealer. Like I said, Satan as the coach. Like this team, we need a 30 for 30 by at least 55. Can we get to like we're 55? That's like 16 more years. It might be a little bit more for y'all. But 15 years. In 15 years, that's what we need. Like, I don't care nothing else for Christmas. I need a 30 for 30.
There's been enough people that have said this, that someone is concocting this thing. Someone has to be.
Or it has to be on Netflix. Because like that Malice for Palace, like that one, I'm pretty sure it can go an hour and a half long, 2 hours long.
Yes.
Oh, you could probably do like a 10-episode documentary like the
and
Michael
with each player, like you do like one for Urban Meyer, one for Tim Tebow, one, and Tim Tebow fans are there because his fan base is probably I've
I mean,
never.
They still think he should be a quarterback in the NFL.
Even
they still think he should be Jesus in the NFL. Like he should be walking on top of players' helmets.
I had a guy tell me that if they just invested in Tim Tebow when he was in Denver, Tim Tebow would have won them a Super Bowl the way Peyton Manning was able to get them a Super Bowl. They were so certain.
Yeah, I know they were. I know.
And I'm a Tim Tebow fan. I tell people, I am a Tim Tebow fan, but I am a Florida Gator Tim Tebow fan.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't going to pan out anything for the NFL.
Mm-mm.
No.
I hate it. I hated him so much. He's the reason why I hate the Gators. Because I lived in Florida. I lived in Orlando at that time. And I swear they told this man every whereabouts on the news. Today, Tim Tebow is on the toilet. Today, Tim Tebow is buying orange juice. Today, Tim Tebow was caught feeding a gator on the side of the road with a rabbit that he saved from, it was like, dude, let this man live.
Now, LDZ, you know, having lived there, the Florida people built different. Like, there's a reason why, like, if you go to the bayou, if you go to Cajun country, they say don't feed the alligators. In Florida, they say don't molest the alligators. Like,
oh my God, it's something in the water. It's something. It's something in the water. That's why I tasted that water and I spit that shit out and went and bought cases of water after that. I'm like, how there's something in the fucking water. So excuse my language. I'm glad we're not on live. But it's something in the water. Like there's something. It's gross. I think it messes with your brain. But yeah, people don't realize Jacksonville. Half of Jacksonville is nice and beautiful and then the other half
is like whoa.
My
ex-girlfriend tells me all about it. She tells me all about it. She lives down there right now. She tells me all about it.
Yes. You got fans, and that's how they feel. Tim Tebow can save us from COVID and all its variants. All we need him is just take a knee and touch us one by one. He's like the Pope that we never had.
When Urban brought,
I'm glad you said it, LDZ, because I had so many Catholic jokes lined up ready to go, and I was like, I can't say it.
I'll say it. I got you.
When Urban Meyer brought Tim Tebow in, I literally had people that would chime in and was like, "Oh, we could trade Trevor Lawrence because we got Tim Tebow."
Oh yeah, I heard that. I heard people were ecstatic. I'm like, for what? He's doing a position change 10 years too late. Why even put that? Yeah, why even put that pressure on your rookie quarterback that's supposed to be generational? Like he's supposed to be the next guy.
Supposed to be.
Why even put that in there? And then the media, ESPN, would be busting all types of artificial nuts if Trevor Lawrence threw a touchdown pass to Tim Tebow.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It's the truth, Damien. It's the truth. I am so sorry, but it's the truth. Like that's how Tim Tebow fans feel. Like Tim Tebow, they think he is just God. And it's like that's the reason why I hated Florida. Like he couldn't have done anything wrong. And like what he was doing wrong was throwing. His throwing stance was worse than the females that I've seen. I've seen some females in, the female fighting league, even the lingerie league, throw better than him. Your throwing stance was the worst, Tim Tebow. And that is why all these teams asked you to become a tight end. There was a reason they asked your big ass to become a tight end. They didn't want you. If they thought you could be a quarterback, more teams would have came after you and drafted you as a quarterback. But yeah, like I said, I just want that 30 for 30. That's all I ask for any anybody listening. That's all I want.
Well, that and let me say, go ahead. Well, I was gonna say and it's not like Tim Tebow didn't get multiple chances. He went to the Jets.
Well, the Jets was kind of raw deal. I don't count that, but he did have a chance with the Patriots and Eagles.
Had a chance with Patriots, and he had a chance with the Eagles.
Yeah.
He had a chance with 3 other teams.
The Jets, they did him a disservice. I'll say that about the Jets, but he did have other opportunities for sure.
Yeah,
he had opportunities.
So you had other opportunities to switch or either learn how to be a better quarterback because you had at least 4 other quarterbacks coaches you could learn from, and you
especially in New England. I'd have taken the vet minimum to be in New England, just sit behind Tom Brady and learn how to play the quarterback position.
Yep,
for sure.
Or at the time, learn from 2 of the better tight ends in Hernandez and
Gronk. Yep. Oh, and here's the thing. I do want to say one thing because I know we're closing on. So I do want to say one thing in regards to Jacksonville. And this might be an unpopular opinion, I don't see generational talent from Trevor Lawrence. I'm not saying he wasn't worthy of the number 1 pick. I'm not saying he wasn't the best player of the draft. I'm saying that when you say generational talent, when Andrew Luck was coming out of Stanford and we say Andrew Luck was a generational talent,
he was.
When you watched him, you saw it. It was very clear that his mind, body, everything was a lot faster, stronger than everybody else on that football field. You saw that when he was playing at Stanford, this is how I knew he was generational, in my opinion. When I watched him at Stanford, I watched 2 games, and I was like, he has no business playing in college. Sit down and wait till the draft. You have no business playing college football right now. You're way too advanced to do that. I did not see that with Trevor Lawrence. I watched almost every single Clemson game with him.
I watched
because other than that national championship game against Alabama, I don't see it. I don't see generational. And I think when I say this to people, they're making it seem like I'm calling him a bum or a bust. I did not say that he's not worthy of the number 1 pick. I'm not saying that he's not going to be good. I'm saying when you say generational, I don't put generational on a lot of QBs. John Elway, generational.
I don't even put it on a lot of players. Like, exactly. That's why I said this season, I mean, not this season, but this draft class, and like we said last year, there are players that came out, and there's a couple of them, of course, like Micah Parsons, like I think he's going to be a generational talent. I think Jamar Chase, I think he is going to be a generational talent.
Out of the quarterbacks, I think to me, out of the quarterbacks, there's only 2 in the last 5 years that I would say are generational, and that is actually 3. Sorry, 3 that are generational. Watson, Herbert, and Burrow.
And see, I was just about to say, I saw it more in Herbert.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I didn't see it a lot in Oregon, but I've seen it more now that he's in the NFL.
Yes.
I think I said this on this show. I've never been so happy to be so wrong about a player the way I was with Justin Herbert. Because I said the same thing. I was like, I don't know what y'all saying when y'all saying Justin Herbert should be the number 1 pick. I don't see it. And now it's like, oh no, Oregon did you a disservice.
Yes, they did.
They did you a disservice. It's how I felt about Alvin Kamara with Tennessee.
I agree with this.
Disservice. But just when it comes to QBs, for me, when I say generational talent at the QB position, I only say a few in the history of the game. There's only a few, like a handful of generational QBs. I look at Dan Marino as one. I look at John Elway as one. I look at Peyton Manning as one.
Brett Favre
as another one. It's a small class when you say generational quarterbacks.
I put Tom Brady in there because that man is Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, Tom Brady.
Because he's drinking the fountain of youth. I'm just trying to figure out where this shit is so I can get a hold of it.
I said this quarterback too, and some people are like, well, he wasn't that great of a thrower. I said, yeah, but the package, we ain't never seen it. We still ain't seen it, and that was Michael Vick. Still ain't seen it. I understand Lamar Jackson.
You know how many people are trying to imitate him right now?
Oh yeah.
You said what?
How many players are trying to imitate Mike Vick?
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
I was like, Michael Vick was such a terror for defenses because it was just lightning quick. And then when he wanted to launch it, he launched it with the best of them.
He was a generational comparison to? Randall Cunningham. That would be his generational comparison.
Yes,
it's him and Randall Cunningham.
Yes, to be that kind of an athlete, but have a rocket arm like that. Yes, Randall Cunningham.
Like, and imagine if we didn't have a Mike Vick or a Randall Cunningham, we wouldn't have a Deshaun Watson probably.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have. We wouldn't have
Russell Wilson.
Or Russell Wilson. We probably wouldn't have Burrow either. Or Herbert. Like, these players might have decided, you know what, we're just going to go a different route. Hell, might not even play at all. But so I agree with that, Michael Vick. Even though some Atlanta fans think that Michael Vick is the greatest QB of all time, but forgetting that Matt Ryan is probably the most consistent QB they've had ever. But I'm a big Matt Ryan fan. I'm a huge Matt Ryan fan. So we can go. We can go.
I'm a fan of Matt Ryan in Boston College.
Yeah, and people forget. People look at. I understand that was probably their only chance that was going to make it to the Super Bowl. But when you don't put a line, because they're blaming Matt Ryan for this season, when you don't give him that Matt Ryan a line, these last 2 seasons, Matt Ryan has been running for his life more than any other season of his career.
For sure.
But he was always in top 5 numbers. His numbers were always top 5 QB, and most people just didn't. They only looked at his.
Well, majority of his career, he always had a top 10, top 5 player. Somebody was always with him.
Yeah. Because you always had Roddy White, you had Julio Jones. Now the only person he's got is Pitts because Ridley stepped away from him for health reasons.
Yeah, Gabriel stepped away.
Yep.
Yeah, so you have to give him. That's why he's coming back next year, because 1, it costs too damn much. 2, because he is. They could release him, but I forgot how much that release.
It'd be a big cap. It would be worth it.
No,
It was huge. That's why they got rid of Julio, because I kept trying to explain to them Julio was cheaper, and they were not listening. I was like, Julio is cheaper. But yeah, I'm a big, huge Matt Ryan fan. But it's like I said, he's probably the most consistent QB. Don't get me wrong, I like Vic. I gave him. I'm a huge. If you're listening and if you're thinking, oh, I can't because what he did to the animals, he apologized, and
he did his time.
He did his time, and he's doing over what he's supposed to do. He is now advocating against dog fighting. He is saving dogs from dog fighting. He has a foundation, he's doing a lot. He didn't have to do all that. He could have just did his time and said, F y'all, and I'm coming back. Yep. And give me the ball. That's all he had. He could have just did that. Yeah. But he's doing above and beyond. And
he's having a really good career as an analyst now, too.
Yeah, he's doing very
good. I really do like him as an analyst. And and so I always give people second chances. Always. That's just how I've always been in life. Just, with anybody, friends, family, I've always given people second chances. And this is his second chance with me, and this Deshaun Watson, this is the same situation. I'm praying to sweet baby Jesus, this isn't true. And 22 women, if they're all right, it's going to be kind of hard to give them a second chance, but I still will give them a second chance because that's just the type of person I am, especially if I see him improving. AB was the same situation. I still think there's some other things going on with AB. There's a lot of story with AB, but I did give him a second chance after that whole locking out your baby mom out of the house, that whole situation. Still, it's against women. I feel like I'm on my second chance with the NFL in whole because of the whole Deshaun Watson situation. Every other situation there was women involved, you've handled it quickly and swiftly. From Big Ben, when you were on the old rules, Ray Rice on the old rules, and you changed the rules, after that, even with Zeke. And like I said, Zeke's rules were, situation was totally different. They were quick and swift. The situation is it's really hard. It's really hard in the NFL.
Yeah.
And and see, and I think people forget.
They forget about Big Ben.
They forgot what Big Ben did.
Yep.
You know, when I call Big Ben Ben Rapist-burger,
it's like a shock. It's like, whoa.
People are like, what? Why did she say that? And because they forgot.
He did do that.
Yeah, because he paid. When I'm telling you, they handled it quick and swiftly. Like they paid for that shit. I'm pretty sure it was the Rooney family paid for that shit. Like she wants X amount of dollars. Like they cut that check and they were like, "We'll get it from you."
Listen, the Steelers ain't had a quality QB since Terry Bradshaw before him.
Yeah.
So they weren't about to go another decade without a
decade
QB.
Plus. Yeah.
No.
Like they're about to.
They're about
to. But yeah, they paid that quickly and swiftly. Like he probably paid it them back.
Yeah,
but
sure.
they paid that expeditiously because like you heard about it, like how quickly it happened. You heard about it and then it's gone.
Just
like
went away.
He's lucky the social media era wasn't as crazy as it is now. Because if it would have happened, let's just say within the last 5 years, it'd be a totally different situation. The statement, what you said, you know, it wouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
It would be flip it. It would flip it. It's funny how people will kiss Mike Vick's ass and not give Big Ben another chance because social media played a part, I feel, in Mike Vick's because they still bring up pictures of and memes of his situation, but you don't see memes
about Ben.
About Big Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So, like I said,
it's the societal screw up of people care more about what happened to dogs than what happened to women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate reality. That whole situation. So I fully agree with you. And like I said, I'm one of the ones I will always advocate. I'd always advocate for women's rights. I always advocate for women to be heard, to be taken seriously when these things come up, and for those that cause it to be reprimanded. Absolutely, without hesitation. So we're with you, LDZ, on that for sure. We are with you.
Yeah, like something has to happen. Come on now, Roger. Y'all had all this time. Like, do something.
I ain't gonna lie. I want Roger Goodell fired because that man sucks.
Exactly. That's what needs to happen. Because I still haven't. I don't know if you guys saw one of the girls from the Watson case. I haven't read it yet. She wrote a letter to his girlfriend. Like openly wrote a letter to Deshaun Watson's girlfriend, and from what I'm getting, it sounds like she's asking like how she's still with him after all this. But I need to read it. It was on Total Sports. I think it was on. Yeah, it's on their website. And I'm really interested of what that letter has to say, but it's again just like Roger. Yeah, I got Roger. This sucks. Like I agree with you.
Yeah.
Like how many petitions we signed, it's not working.
I'll say it at least probably in his girlfriend's defense because I haven't read the letter. I hadn't even heard of that till you said it.
Yeah, I think it just came out today or yesterday.
She's probably doing what most partners are most good partners typically do. She's standing behind him until it either comes out or she gets undeniable proof like, nope, you did this. Okay, I'm out. But until then, she's at least going to stand behind him and probably support him.
For sure.
Yeah, and you would expect her to do what she's doing. Like, you expect her to support her boyfriend because they've been together for a while, so it's not like she's something brand new.
I think since college.
Yeah, they've been together for a minute. Things haven't changed because how people defend Rodgers and are crucifying AB and Cam, so it really isn't changing anything. Okay.
Now, Freddie.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say this real quick because I hate defending Rodgers, but there's a difference between AB, Cam, and Rodgers.
Yeah.
AB lied.
Flat
out lied. Like, he did some federal stuff. So I don't know how he got off the federal charges. Let's just start there. He did federal stuff. Cam didn't lie about his vaccination status.
Nope.
Cam didn't hide his vaccination status.
No.
He just went and saw a different doctor that wasn't approved by the NFL and the team. And that's why Cam got into trouble.
Yep.
And that little bit of trouble was enough for them to push him out the door because they already had in their head Mac Jones was going to be the starting QB.
Yeah.
And Cam even said, and it makes so much sense. It happened in Chicago. They don't want your head coaches don't want you to know your backup's QB's name because the fans start calling for controversies.
Yep.
They start, cheering, wanting that backup. So that's where that's the situation. Now, Ron again didn't lie to the team. He didn't lie to the team doctors. They tried to get him exempt, and it was denied. He just lied to the media. So there was a reason why AB was suspended and Aaron wasn't.
No.
Because the NFL knew, and the no mask on the sideline, that wasn't a suspension. That is a fine, and he did get fined. Hell, what's his name? Cooper just got fined because of being at the Mavericks game.
Yep.
Without a mask.
Yep.
So that is the difference. That is why, there's three different stories.
Yeah.
That are not even close to each other. People keep trying to say AB and Rodgers are the same. No, it's not.
No, because like you said, Cam kind of had that early on in the season. Everybody knew that he wasn't. That was the big question on whether or not he was even going to stay on the Patriots, even as a backup, as if he would get it or not, and he didn't. And like you said, everybody wanted Mac Jones in New England to start anyway because they're like, oh, it's Tom Brady Jr. We want the next Tom Brady. Start him now. Do it. So that was kind of bound to happen. AB gets more heat because of AB's past.
Yep.
AB was a problem child with the Steelers. He, got his way out of the Steelers. They were going to send him to Buffalo, whined and cried his way out of that. Didn't go to Buffalo, went to Vegas. Didn't even suit up for Vegas. Ended up getting his way kicked out of Vegas. Goes to New England, has the issues there, plays for one game, gets cut, and then goes to Tampa Bay, revitalizes his career, and they re-signed him at the beginning of the year. So I've heard a lot of people, oh, well, it was because the Buccaneers treated him like crap. No. He voluntarily re-signed with them. He didn't have to do that. He could have said, okay, I got my ring, I'm done. Or I'll go somewhere else. No, he re-signed with them. That was his choice. Now the whole, I was hurt and I didn't want to play and they told me and Bruce Arians told me to get out or I'm going to cut you, whatever. I don't know. According to everybody, the Buccaneers tried every way in the world to, mitigate that, try to make sure they still pay him for the rest of the year. And Antonio Brown just kind of chooses to show his ass for whatever reason. So that's why AB gets a lot of heat. I never did Rodgers because obviously I'm not the biggest Rodgers fan. Like that was my issue. Is it wasn't the fact that he didn't lie to the NFL, he didn't lie to the Packers. yes, he did say, "Oh, well, I'm immunized." Okay, it's Rodgers. We already know he's a smart aleck, arrogant dude that thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. My issue is the fact that to me, he wasn't fined more than what he was. And I say this because we've seen other players get hit with bigger fines for more stupid stuff. Look at Cassius March for the Bears getting a taunting penalty just standing there looking at somebody.
CeeDee Lamb socks.
CeeDee Lamb.
It's not socks, but t-shirt, not socks.
His t-shirt. And he waved goodbye at a Patriots defender in that overtime game for the touchdown that he caught and got fined for it. And Aaron Rodgers gets a little smack on the wrist and $14,000. That's my problem. Is that you're fining people different amount. Like, really, you didn't have your shirt tucked in, so this is like a $15,000 fine. Aaron Rodgers,
and it was multiple times, so it's like it kept adding up, and he was just like, and I get the reason, but Aaron knew the rules.
Well, and the bad part is Aaron Rodgers. I still have never seen Aaron Rodgers wear a mask
at all. Yeah, I was like, does he
he's still not vaccinated?
Does he own one? Because I still haven't seen one.
Oh, I bet he does.
I haven't seen one.
Yeah. He lives in California. You know he has to have one. So that's my question. Why is this man racked up like $1 million in fines? Because he continues not to wear a mask. Carson wears a mask. I see Carson wear a mask every damn second he gets off the field. Aaron don't, but yeah, no, absolutely not. I will never give Aaron a pass for that. Even though, like, I'm like personally, I wasn't a big fan of the vaccine. We're not going to get into that, but I was federally mandated to because of the military and whatnot. But nonetheless, Aaron has that choice and he chooses not to, and he's not getting fined millions of dollars every time he doesn't wear that damn mask like he's supposed to, because that's part of your protocol. Like, if you don't get it, you need to follow the rules of what you do to need to be compliant.
And that's all I ask. Like you said, if you're going to get fined, get fined. And that was probably the biggest issue with anybody was, why is he not getting fined as more than, because it was more than one game. You only fined him basically for one game, for one incident. And by the time that all this came out, we were on week 6, week 7, yeah, we should have been, it should have been, fined all those times. But like I said, those are 3 different stories. Cam is now fully vaccinated.
Yep. I think they found out
Rodgers
wasn't actually false.
Yeah, I think AB's was false. That's why that's why he got suspended for 3 games. But he's in Florida, so you can have Herbagana syphilis and they don't care in Florida. So
good old Florida.
We're back to Florida. We're back to Florida.
Oh, it goes
Florida
back to
doesn't care. Yeah, if you're ever bored, just look up Florida man and type in the date of your birth and see what stupid thing happened on your birthday. Like, it's hilarious. Like, or Florida woman, or just say like Florida man or woman, and then type in like your date of birth. Like, just you don't have to do the year. You don't have to do your year, but just do like whatever the first, and see what stupid ass story. It's fun. Tell me your results. Like, send it in the chat. Like, I need to see the stupid Florida man stuff that happened on your birthday. But yeah. But thank you for coming on, Tristan and Tony. I am so glad you guys came on. I was so glad to do this again. We actually went over, because I think this show was only supposed to be an hour. Yeah, we're well over an hour. But this is what happens when you have a great conversation, because this was more, I feel like, seriously, I really feel like this was more great conversation than, it went left and right, but we came back and steered, straight. We didn't go over all the topics. We didn't go over any NBA, so we'll save that for next week. We'll talk about
NBA needs its own show.
Yeah, well, it does, especially right now. Like, right now in these playoffs, we didn't talk about Darius Slay, and we'll talk about that on Wednesday, because he was very vocal of how he didn't get All-Pro, and he has like what 2, 3 returning touchdowns, like pick sixes, 3, and he got 1 vote. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So he you know, I don't want to vote against him. You know, I don't want to vote for him because of the team he's on, but at the same time, I gotta give him props to where props is due. It's one of those situations like you screwed this man. So we're gonna talk about that on next Wednesday. We are gonna talk about, even if it's just us 3 or maybe us 2 or whatever, we're gonna see who did good on their weekend picks. Damian said screw the Warriors in all caps. So he obviously doesn't like the Warriors. We'll talk about We'll talk about the NBA trades next week, and we'll talk about how well the trades, like how well they did. You know, do you think it's a good trade, bad trade? What hot players, young players are doing what they're supposed to be doing, being hot and leading their team, or you know, what does that team need? We'll talk about that next week. But like I said, thank you guys for coming and talking to us and hanging out with us this Friday night late. Tristan, take care of my baby.
I'm watching her as we speak.
Yes, mine just went to sleep. I think I heard him finally stop crying. He was pissed. Like when he had to go to sleep, oh, he was big mad. He was not happy. But like I said, thank you guys, and we will see you all next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central. I had to think about it. What if we're in Central? If I'm not here, it's because I'm about to get blown away by this storm. Sounds like that's about to hit Dallas. Like it's very windy. So yeah, between my husband doing remodeling or whatever the heck he's doing downstairs.
Don't do that.
Pray for your girl. Pray. I just knew I was gonna fall through. I just knew I was gonna fall through this floor. So that's the first part is.
Don't do that. He's working hard.
He is. He's mounting his computer screen.
There you go.
On a different way. He's not having them on a mount. He's actually mounting them on the wall. Like
there you go.
He has some vision in his head. I don't know what's going on in the office. I just know when I see it when I get down there.
Just let me came
upstairs. Yeah, I am, because he came upstairs and he was like, "One's mounted, fist bump." It's all I can do. I'm supportive, you know.
There you go.
I'm not gonna knock him. It's not messed up. It's just.
Let him be great.
Yeah, exactly. He thinks that's his area, and so I just say okay, and okay. It's just that he's never really touched a piece of wood for real in his life.
Let him be great.
So I am letting him be great. He used to be a mechanic, so that's where I'm going. The backstory is he was a mechanic, not a construction worker. So, and he's very IT engineer kind of, you know, that's his expertise. Wood is not one of them. So, like I said, we'll just see. We'll see how this goes.
He's got this. I believe in him.
Well,
I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed myself being away for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I needed this because this week's been trying. But hug the Karat for me, Tony.
Of course.
Karats. It's cats. I thought they were rats. Tristan, that's a whole nother story. That's
it.
Yeah. So
it's because she saw them and they look like rats when they're like first.
But like when I first saw it, she was far, and I was like, "Is that a Karat?" Yeah, so that's their nickname now. That's their.
That's insane.
It's a Karat. All of them are Karats. Like there's a black and white one that's a Karat, and then
I saw the black and white one earlier.
Yeah.
I've got 3. I have an orange one. My orange one won't come in here because of the black and white one. So
yeah, because he's gangster. See, you see
My black and white
one does?
Yeah, my black and white one is 18 pounds. I found him when he was 15 pounds outside of my housing complex, and he's just and he's not fat. He's like built, like he's muscular. So
Triple OG.
He is, and he has this like he's black and white, so he looks like he's wearing a tuxedo. He's just my little like Italian mobster, just
nice,
walking around like a gangster.
Nice.
Like I said, thank you guys and thank you, and we will see you guys next week. Have a great evening.
Later.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.